Sarah Centrella. Are you crazy?
Ooh, good question.
Who is Sarah?
In person,
yeah. Queen of future boards.
Truly.
As a woman that changed her life.
If your partner is cheating.
People cheating and being cheated.
As you go through all these various stages, anger, blah, blah, blah.
I didn't have food for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
When you cheated, you're a victim.
What is life without joy?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, ladies, because this is a Marian talk show. And today I have a queen of future boards. You might know her as a woman that changed her life, and now she shares that knowledge with everyone. And I'm happy to introduce you to Sarah Centrella. Sarah, first of all, I'm so happy that today we're doing this kind of podcast,
in person.
In person, yeah. We met in person because our first podcast was the
Zoom,
one that made me to fell in love with you, with what you do, with your mission. And today, let's go through your mission.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me on. And it's awesome to get a chance to hug you and meet you and be IRL and all that cool stuff. And your event was absolutely incredible. I had just the most amazing time. And I'm excited to dig into future boards and, share with everybody some of the tools that I've used to change my life completely from like a rock bottom to really living my dreams and teaching other people how to live their dreams, how to manifest truly anything that you want.
So how did it start? That's the breaking point is the most important thing.
Yeah. So for me, everything started with the implosion of my life. It was 2008. And at the time I had been married to my high school sweetheart. We had been together literally half our lives for 16 years. And I had 3 little kids. I had twins that were a year-old and a 5-year-old son. Stay-at-home mom, just, trying to get through the days as stay-at-home moms or any mom out there can relate to, right? And it was just a normal day. I had been doing the laundry and, had the Oprah show on in the background, made the baby food, all of those things, made dinner. And my husband came home from work and we sat down, we had dinner. And then there's this moment where I'm like cleaning up the dishes and he's in the shower. And all of a sudden I had this like flashback to the Oprah show that I'd been watching earlier in the day. And it was this little like neon sign running across my brain. The show's topic was how to know like if your partner is cheating. And I remember as I was like folding laundry watching the show, I was like, this sucks. Like, God, I wish you had a cool show on today because I don't need this show, right? And I think I might have even muted it, but they were putting the little things up on the screen, right? And one of them was like if they turn their phone over, if you can't find their phone. And mind you, I had been with him since I was 16, and not one time in those 16 years had I ever had the thought like, oh, I wonder if he's cheating. Just never crossed my mind. And in that moment, I just knew everything. It was like, oh my God, I haven't seen his phone. Like, I just know. And it was like that woman's intuition where my whole body flashed cold, flashed hot. I was like, oh my God. And I literally went and put a movie on for my son in the other part of the house. It was like, stay here, don't move. Put the kids, my daughters in their cribs and went into the shower. And sure enough, his phone was like hidden in the clothes he was about to put on. Opened it up and there was a text message he hadn't even seen yet. This said, I can't wait till you're finally free. All mine, no more sharing. And smiley face. Can't forget the smiley face. And that was the end of everything that I knew. Truly, I turned the water off in the shower, said, get the fuck out and don't come back. And our marriage, my entire life was over in about 10 minutes. He left with like soaking wet clothes on, threw his ring at me, kissed the kids goodbye. And that was it. Like filed for divorce later that week. And, I think like my big come to Jesus moment, if you will, was that night. And I was just laying on the floor in the living room. I couldn't move. I'd been crying for so long. My face was like stuck to the wood floor. And I just was going like, what am I supposed to do tomorrow? That was the most thing that kept going through my head. Like, I don't have a job. I don't have any income. The bank accounts are in his name. The car's in his name, for Christ's sake. Like, and we had just gone through like this huge financial upheaval because we lost our house in foreclosure with the bubble and just all this stuff. So I was like, I can't even go get an apartment because now I don't have credit and I don't have a job and I don't have $5 to my name. And so I was sitting there trying to solve the problem, as a lot of times us women will do, right?
Yeah.
And everything just kept coming back like, I can't do that. There's just no way. I can't. And then there was this moment that was like clear as day, and whatever you believe in, we can give it that name, God, universe, whatever. But it was this moment of like, well, what if you can? Like, what if you could get up tomorrow and figure this out? And I think that was all I needed to just truly get up the next day and be like, well, what could I do today? And it started the process of me creating a new life and starting to dream again, and started everything really.
I love it. And if we will break down that story, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Now, I can see here also two very big topics to discuss. First of all, cheating. I mean, the percentage is huge of people cheating and being cheated. The psychology behind it is very complicated and diverse. But today we're going to talk about how to go through cheating.
Yeah.
And the second thing, identity crisis.
Right.
When
Oh my God,
you're with someone for all your life.
It's your whole identity.
The whole identity. My mom was with my dad since 19. He was her only man she'd ever been to with for all her life. And when he passed away, she's still going at her 50s through her identity crisis.
Wow, yeah.
Yes, and it is a very important thing to think about it and start working on building your identity.
Who are you?
Who are you? Not who's
who's
you are
the wife,
together.
or who's the
Not wife, mother, but who is Sarah?
Right.
Who is Aruz?
Yeah.
Who is that exact person? Which hobbies you have? So before saying anything, let's start with how did you build your identity after that?
Yeah. So I think that's such a good and valid point, because like you said, I had never thought about any future at all that wasn't his, right? Like since the time I was 16 years old. And so every dream I had, every plan I had was about being a wife and being a mother, really. Yeah. And so once that kind of ended, it took me probably, several years, but definitely that first year, I really struggled with it. I was like, who is Sarah if she's not a wife, if she's not half of this couple that everybody knows, right? And I think what helped a lot was I started looking at it from a blank slate perspective. I really did. I was just like, well, since I don't have, any idea, why don't I just make it up? Truly. I was like, why don't I just kind of imagine, okay, well, if I could be anyone that I wanted, what would that look like? And, who am I as a mom now? That was a very big topic for me, because I wanted to be a mom my whole life. It was a huge, huge, thing that I had always wanted. And I had a very rigid idea of we're going to have, I'm going to make organic food and whatever, And as a single mom, I suddenly couldn't do half the things I wanted to do as a mom, right? And so I had to really kind of sit down and say, what's important to me, and how do I reinvent this, but still keep all the things that really matter to me, and what does that look like? And so I think trying to honestly pick my next identities and say, I want to be successful. So what does that look like? What does a successful Sarah look like? And what does the single mom version of me look like? And then I allowed myself to dream even beyond that, and thought, what if I started writing? What does a writer version of me look like? So it was certainly a process over time that you had to mourn, or I had to mourn kind of the loss of those dreams, or the loss of that identity, and realize okay, that's not coming back. So how do I make the next version bigger, better, stronger? Really.
Yeah, that's great. I love the part that you first said goodbye to the older version of you, because that's also you.
Right.
But it's in the past. With love, we can just let it go.
Yeah. And it's okay to mourn it, I think,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's a lot of times if you found yourself in that situation, there's part of you that just wants to run from it maybe, or pretend like your last version of you didn't exist. And I think it's okay to say goodbye to it in a way, and be like, okay, now I'm ready to step into this next version. And I think one of my goals, period, in life is to constantly be transforming. So that was like my first intentional transformation, if you will. But ever since then, every single year I sit down and write, who am I transforming into this year? Like, I want to be evolving time, like 90 or whatever, you know, like I want to be an unrecognizable version year on year on. Otherwise I'm not growing, and that's not fun.
Yeah, that's the whole point of life. And it's fun.
Yes,
it is fun to grow.
Yeah.
Agree.
Bring on change.
Yeah, I don't think that it's the process, that heavy process. Okay, I have to grow today.
Right.
No, I think it's so exciting because that growth gives you, it's like amusement park for adults.
Yeah, truly. It is such a more fun way to live. Like
100%.
My worst version of life or hell to me would be living the same day over and over again. And that was really the life I was living before all this happened. So you and I were talking off air before about how grateful I am for that story I just told you. It was an implosion and a death of everything that I knew, but it was also the birth of everything fantastic that's ever happened to me since, so it's all in how you look at it and what you choose to do with it.
Definitely. Let's talk about cheating, because that's a very, very big topic. Not only nowadays, it's a big topic
since the dawn of time, probably.
Yes, exactly. And going through cheating, because we know your story through you achieved everything you should have. Because, you had two, I'm sorry, but you had two kids.
Right.
It's easier to not do anything when you're by yourself, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People always ask me if I would have done all this if I didn't have kids. No, I would have fallen off the face of the earth.
Definitely. So you can, but again, you could find another approach, not this big and successful. Great. But cheating, it is very hard to go through it.
Right.
I know a lot of women that's still stuck in that victim mindset.
Right.
Because when you cheated, you're a victim.
Absolutely.
You're a victim of a lie.
Right.
Lie for me is some kind of robbing. You're robbing me from truth.
It's betrayal.
Yeah, it's betrayal.
Yeah.
It's very tough spot to be at.
Right.
How you went through cheating.
Yeah.
And came to trusting men and people again.
Yeah, such a good question. Well, it was interesting because yesterday was the first time, halfway through telling that story yesterday, I asked the audience, I was like, ladies, you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about women's intuition? And literally every single person in the room was like, uh-huh. And you just know, most of us have been through it, probably statistically, 70, 80% of us have been through it. So whatever version of that, I think most women out there can relate to. And it is devastating isn't even the right word for it, right? Because it shatters everything that you know about a person. It shatters all the history you had together. Definitely. I think for me, my ex was carrying on an affair with someone that he worked with that he ultimately married. So initially there was all those questions of has this been going on for the 9 years you've worked at this company where, it just blows up everything that you knew, not just, oh, why did you do this to me? But it's the ramifications are just so huge. It really makes you, like you said, mistrust. And I think for me to heal from that and to be able to move on, and thankfully I'm in an incredible relationship right now, but it took a lot of years, and I chose to raise my kids as a single mom. That was a very early on decision that I knew I just did not want to bring anyone else into anything. I did not want people in and out of my kids' lives, period. So my children never met anyone. I never ever dated anybody publicly or in any way for 17 years until the relationship that I'm in now. And so, but that was a very, very conscious choice, not so much because I had the mistrust, because I had really worked through healing from that. And to do that, I had to realize that what had happened to me was a result of our marriage, right? If we were both blissfully happy, let's be honest, it's not going to happen. And so I had to look at that and take some responsibility. Not that there's, I
know what you're talking about. But, true responsibility, not the responsibility. It wasn't your fault, but the true responsibility that everything happens to me is the result of my thoughts, actions, mindset. Yes.
And there's always something that we can do to change for whatever next is coming. And so I had to it took a little while, probably a couple of years, as you go through all these various stages, anger, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then I got to a phase where I was like, okay, well, if I'm really honest with myself, I know neither of us were happy for quite a while before that. And I know we wouldn't have been happy forever unless something really dramatic had changed that. And so how do I make sure that I don't get into a relationship like that again? Like, are there things that I can work on, or things that I can change so that I am in a better matched situation? I'm showing up in a way that I would want to as a partner. And so I think doing that reflection, and that's kind of how I look at anything, whether it's a business decision that failed, I'm always doing this like post-mortem analysis, like, okay, cool. What can I learn from that? What can I take from that? And how do I fix whatever went wrong and grow, take the good pieces of it and expand, but also change, because nothing is ever just one person's, there's some exceptions, some outliers, but for the most part, two people, either one is staying, and it's complicated relationships, but there's always, I think, a place where we can be reflective and say, what do I need to change?
I love it. So let's go to our future boards.
Yeah, let's do it.
Us. Yeah. Just tell us how to do the effective future board that will work. There is certain method that you've created that can take us there by like precise steps.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I forgot to mention at the end of that story really quick was that the first thing I really did to change my life is I started daydreaming about a different life and put a bunch of pictures on a board in my first office, not thinking anything would happen, and it actually started totally changing my life. In about 18 months, I was living half the board. It was insane. I felt like I was like Cinderella, like what is going on? So since then, I've come up with my own method. It's a future boards method. And it is really about being very intentionally creating your future life. And so the first thing anyone who wants to make one has to do is sit down and ask themselves, what is it that I want? What do I want in all areas of my life? So a great way to do it is think 5 years into the future, and then think, okay, if all of my relationships are amazing, what does that look like? If I have great business partners, what has that done to my business? Or if I get that next promotion or start the business or whatever, what does that look like? So you go through all the areas of your life. I'll give you the 5 real quick. It's relationships, so all the people in your life. It's mind and body. So what do you do to de-stress yourself, take care of yourself, but also to grow and physically take care of your body, obviously, too. And then it's wealth and finances. So what does money look like to me when I'm at a place where I have freedom, or whatever the word is for anyone? So instead of putting, dollar bills or something on a board, you're really thinking it through and saying, if money is no object and I'm in a place of true abundance and living my very best life, how would I spend the money? So it's probably on doing something. It's probably on an experience. It's probably on doing something amazing with the people that you love. So that's what you'd want to represent on the board. So all of your pictures on your board, I always tell clients to get it off Pinterest. Pinterest is the largest photography library on the internet. A lot of people don't know that. So just search for whatever it is you're looking for and add the word photography to the end of the search, and Pinterest will be a whole different place for you. You'll be like, oh, this is fantastic. Yeah. So then the last category, I think, is career and ambitions. So whatever those next phases are of your career that you're dreaming of, put those biggest and best dreams up there. And passions and joys. That's the last one. And that's the one that most people don't pay any attention to. They're like, I don't have time for that. But you do. And joy is important.
Joy is everything.
Right?
I mean,
what is life without joy?
Yes, I was thinking the other day, I have never ever done any project from greed. I always done something because I first thought, even my first job when I was a student and I had no money, literally no money, I didn't have food for 2 months. Yeah. I went to that job and I didn't even ask how much they pay because I liked the job so much.
You're like, I'll do it.
Yes. I remember people at the university, they're like, are you crazy? You have nothing to eat. You don't ask. I'm like, but what's the point of living if I do something I don't like? Yeah. So that's so important. Yep. It can be a job, but it also can be any hobby, right? That can fulfill us.
Absolutely. And a lot of times they can turn into, for instance, writing. When I very first started writing way back 2009, I started on a blog, and that was just for me. That was for my own outlet, for my own joy. I never anticipated anyone would ever read it. Kind of didn't want anyone to read it. And it wound up going viral, but that's what led to 3 book deals. So thank God for that, right? So you can take something that is your joy and actually turn it into something that's so much bigger, but allow yourself to dream. Just open it up and think of possibility instead of all the why can'ts,
Exactly. I love it. The method itself.
Yeah.
I know that there are things that you cannot do, what we're used to
Yeah, good call out. Thank you. So one of them is don't put words on your board. I see that all the time. People will tag me on social media. They'll be like, I made my future board. And I'm like, but you didn't, because you didn't go by the method. But so no words, because this is a visual board and it's stimulating a totally different part of your brain. A word is very generic. It doesn't have any meaning for you at all unless you're going to sit down and put a lot of thought into how that word comes to life for you, and then you'll find a picture, right? Of a visual. So only visuals. And then another one is your pictures should have people in them. They don't have to look like you, but like if you want to go to Paris, we don't want just a picture of an Eiffel Tower. Yeah. We want to think of, do I want to do that with the love of my life? Do I want to do it with my kids? So you can put family, you can put couple, and then you'll start to see all of these variations of a dream that you're thinking about. You'll see 200 gorgeous pictures of that. And that is really what gets the board to work, is it's the combination of you putting in that thought that gets your own imagination stimulated. And then you'll go on Pinterest and as soon as you see that picture, your brain will do this recognition thing where it's like, that's my dream. And that's the first phase of it starting to turn from thought to reality. And it's crazy how fast it can start to manifest, truly.
Love it. What's on Sarah Centrella's future board right now?
Ooh, good question. So my next journey phase of life, if you will, my daughters are about to graduate high school and my son's about to graduate college. So I want to buy a villa in Italy and rehab it and do my retreats over there. And
love it.
That's the next version of the dream. Write books, have people over, cook for them. That's the retirement dream.
Love it. And if you were me right now, what question would you ask?
I think that one of the things that I would love to know from you is, what is the thing that motivates you the most to get up and do what you do? I mean, you have an incredible story as well. What has been the thing that's been motivating for you?
What was motivating for me? My system of support. Yeah, it's huge. And I think the second I understood the mission of my life, that was driving me.
Oh, wow.
Forward.
I love that.
It's something like, you just blinded, like you can't see anything. You just do what you think you're supposed to do. And system of support, it's such a huge thing. And you have to put work into that too, right? I mean, we can't just be like, I'm gonna take all your support. Thanks so much. I'm gonna be back here chilling. It's a two-way street, right? You have to pour into the people what you do all the time, and that's what helps keep it strong, right? 100%. 100%. And what about you? What question you would ask yourself if you were me? Oh, wow. I think the question that you asked about my future is such an important one, because so many people are not thinking about their future. Yeah, I think what does love look like in this next version of my life is a good question too. We'll get into that on the next podcast, though. I love it. And at the end of our podcast, you have your program. You have your teaching method that you also teach. Tell to our viewers about that, and maybe someone will join. That, because I know that you have the whole community. And one thing when you do it by yourself, right? Another thing when you're in the doing community, it together. Exactly, getting inspired by others, how people can join. I'm going to give your audience, everybody, 2 really important freebies. So it's the 2 things you'll need to kind of get started on making your future board and make this happen for you. One is the workbook that goes with this book, and the workbook's a 74-page workbook. It literally will translate the book to your life so that you will know how to do all of this for you. That's free, so I'll give you the link to put in there. And then also I have an in-depth coaching course that teaches you how to dream big and teaches you how to let go of your limiting beliefs that are preventing you from dreaming big. And both those I'll give to your audience for free, because they're
so important to like actually getting action. And my whole thing is like, if this inspired you, cool. But if you don't do anything about that, it was a waste of a half hour. I mean,
Definitely.
like make it mean something. Get the actions behind it so that you can get the same change to happen in your own life. That's all I ever care about. So those two things will help.
Thank you. And very last question.
Yeah.
What is empowerment for you?
Empowerment is 100% knowing what you can do to make changes, having tools. I think tools are so, so important. Like knowing that if I get myself in XYZ situation, if I'm, let's say, in a funk or things are not going well, do I know what to do in that situation? Do I have tools? That to me means that I'm empowered. I'm not just waiting for a good thing to happen or a good day to get me out of it. I am actually actively doing things that I know work to get myself out of it. And whenever you are the one in charge of how you feel, your emotions, your future, you have control in areas that most of us don't think we can or do have control. And there's nothing more empowering than that, right? Empowerment and motivation to me are two very different things. Empowerment is I am owning it and I am doing something about it and I'm using the tools at my disposal. But motivation can come and go, you know? And a lot of times you're out there looking for someone to motivate you and that's not going to work. Empowerment is, I'm going to do that shit myself.
Definitely. I love that word. And I've noticed that not every language has that word.
Oh, that's interesting.
I could not translate it into Russian. I could not translate it into Armenian. Couldn't find the word in Spanish.
That is so interesting. I would have never thought that.
Yes, I couldn't find the right translation because there is no word as empowerment in other languages. Like maybe there are languages. I don't know all languages.
But wow, that is so interesting because it is. I think it has kind of a vast meaning, but it also has a meaning different probably for different people.
Definitely.
But for me, it's all about like, what am I doing? Like to make a change.
Answer.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Riz. This is awesome.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us at this podcast.
And I'm going to have you on my show so everyone can hear your amazing story. And I can't wait for that too.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you for watching us. See you in a week.